What's going on, everybody? There's really not anybody in here. No, I'm just playing. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today? All right, we're going to go, man. So, again, no guests today just because y'all still need to go to school. I'm hearing some things that I'm not liking. I'm hearing some mindsets that haven't been changed, right? Not so much that they haven't been changed, but they're still kind of being looked at in a real funky way, all right? So we're going to break it down a little bit, one problem at a time. All right. So, but mostly my rant today is about the mindset again. Again, we're not there and we got to get there. We're going to get there though. We are. I promise you we are. So today we're going to walk through some of the mental aspects of health and why it actually is a segment on the show. Last week I talked about some of the new segments that are, coming up in the mental health is a section there, is a segment. So why is that so important, you guys ask, or over the weekend some conversations have come up. The mind controls everything we do. It controls how we act, how we react. Our thought process then leads to our actions. So that within itself is everything in life, right? So I'm exhausted from the research from preparing for today's show because it's really why are we that set up to think this way that is so corruptive to our health and our longevity, our daily life, how we live, all of that, our activity level, everything comes all down to this, right? For example, so some of it with the nutritional facts. So the nutritional fact that we have for today is about carbohydrates. Last week we talked about fats, healthy fats versus unhealthy fats, how we got unhealthy fats with the trans fat and things of that nature. Today, for our nutritional segment, we are going to go into carbohydrates, right? So again, we think carbohydrates are just wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm restricting carbs from a diet. I'm not eating bread. I eat pasta. I'm not eating any of those things, right? So, okay, cool. But then what is that saying, right? So let's spend some time talking about that. When I tell you guys that I got wrapped up in this, I got so wrapped up into this thought process with carbohydrates, right? So For starters, this is what is a carbohydrate? Do you ever think of why that one sound more related to chemistry than any other than fat or protein? It sounds real chemistry related. Well, because it is. Carbohydrates are composed of three primary elements, which is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, right? So here's the thing. I want y'all to follow me because I'm reading this. I am reading, and this is the part that really tripped me out with today because I'm reading this from textbooks that we're taught as trainers and how to approach nutrition, okay? This is what, and it's no fault to I'm not faulting any one person. I'm faulting the setup of the Food and Drug Administration, okay? Because here it goes. The Food and Drug Administration, along with our healthcare system, are set up this way to be a business, unfortunately. So if you heal everyone from everything, then you don't have a business, right? That seemed pretty straightforward from a business aspect, even if you don't like health and fitness. That seems pretty straightforward, right? Okay. So again, that's what the definition of carbohydrates is. Then further it says, okay, carbohydrate usually comes from plants. I'm going to read it again. Carbohydrates usually comes from plants. Plants, unlike animals, use photosynthesis to receive and convert energy from the sun. Plants receive the sunlight and turn the energy into a form of energy that animals can consume and use, right? So let's think about that and try to put it in perspective. Carbohydrates. So it's admitting here that carbohydrates usually come from a form of plant, right? Or comes from plant. That's what it says. Okay. Next, it goes on to say carbohydrates is significantly greater or consumed in significantly greater quantities for three main reasons. Now, remember it just said plants is where it usually comes from, right? But in our diet, we are told that we need the carbs, and this is the three main reasons why we consume so many. Three main reasons why. Carbohydrates is widely available, and it is grown in so many forms and can essentially be masked as anything. Okay, so i.e. your fast food, your sugars, your cakes and cookies, and like that all just kind of goes. They say it's a carb, right? Why is that? We'll get to that. The second is carbohydrates is easily stored and does not spoil as rapidly as proteins and fats. Number 3 really irritates me. Third, calorie per calorie, carbohydrates is usually the cheapest of the 3 macro ingredients. Macro ingredients meaning our fats, proteins, and our carbs. So of the 3, carbohydrates is the cheapest, and you can get a large quantity of it, right? So then we have the Food and Drug Administration that say that we need 45 to 65% of carbohydrates in every meal. So more than half of your meal should consume of carbohydrates, which is one of the cheapest of the 3. Okay? The cheapest of the 3. Now, the crazy thing with carbs, okay, a lot of it's come from the sweeteners. A lot of it comes from chemicals. The chemicals are so cheap. Those are the ones that we typically consume. Do you see how we kind of gotten away from the whole plants? A carbohydrate usually comes from a plant. Does anybody see how we got like where the plants go? You know, like I don't even know why we're here. Where do plants go? We're talking now chemicals in large quantities and it being cheap. So that's what third reason of why we consume so many carbohydrates as a community, as the United States of America, is largely because calorie for calorie, it is cheap. Doesn't mean that it's good. Doesn't mean that it's nutritionally dense. It's cheap. And it has shelf life, meaning it doesn't spoil. That was the second one, okay? It had shelf life. It doesn't spoil as rapidly. So if something's not spoiling, that means that it probably wasn't alive, right? Because when we eat things that are nutritionally dense, they were at some point or still are a live organism. You eat an apple, it's an alive organism. It will rot, okay? Those are the things that we should be eating. Those are the things that, will help us along the way, give us the nutrition that we need to help everything circulate and all that good stuff. But if we're getting the cheap stuff, then what are we getting here? Okay, so that brings me into the primary functions of carbohydrates, right? So, and as it says, and I'm reading from information that we're taught as trainers, and also information that is out there given to you, okay? Yes, Yvette, you're correct. Your mother's always talking about eating live foods. Yes, you have to. If the food that you are eating wasn't alive, then that means it never lived. And so what then are we putting in our bodies? Because it says here that It says glucose is the primary fuel to the brain and to the central nervous system. Y'all check this part out. I'm gonna read this slow because I want to make sure that y'all get this part right here. Okay. So it is, and glucose is carb, like it's all there. So it is the primary fuel the brain and to the central nervous system. Okay, this changes the blood glucose. This is we're talking about levels that are affected by a person's, or levels. These levels, excuse me. Let me slow down so make sure you guys get this. These levels of glucose levels. What's important about them is these levels change the way that a person thinks and acts. Okay, you ever heard of a person being hyperglycemic? They say, and when they get they get in one of their rants, it's like, oh my gosh, they're acting up, and it's like, okay, let's get them some sugar, something he needs to eat, so they can calm down. This is what we're talking about here. So if these things are affecting the way we think, the way we act, my goodness, and remember what I said last week. So this is the primary fuel to the brain and the central nervous system. So we have. So from last week, the unhealthy fats, right? And the unhealthy fats are doing what? Breaking down our cell membrane, right? Because the healthy fats help build cells, right? So we're eating unhealthy fats, okay? So that's tearing down our cell membrane, okay? So now then we're eating unhealthy carbohydrates. What is that doing? That's spiking our glucose levels. That is affecting the way we act, the way we think. It is affecting our brain and our central nervous system. So when people say you are what you eat, or you eat healthy, you'll be more relaxed and things like that, and they wonder why we have such a problem with our school systems, and we're feeding them crap, or they're coming into the schools on crap. Like, all of this is related. All of this is health related. All of this is an issue, okay? All of this goes into the mindset. It affects the mind. If these are the things that are fueling the brain, the way we think and the way we act, my goodness, of course it's not going to be anything positive if we're pumping chemicals in ourselves and we're not pumping the things that it gives us, the natural energy. Again, plants, carbohydrates should be consumed from plants. The chemicals, that's the cheap stuff. And they make it cheap for a reason. But follow me. It is okay. We're going to address that. A lot of you guys are saying, what about that? I got something for that too later on, y'all. Stick with me, okay? Just follow me. Follow me. I promise you. Okay? All right. So there's that aspect. Now, here's another thing about carbohydrates, right? Carbohydrates provides fuel at high intensity moments. So basically, carbohydrates is the energy source that fuels us at high intensity movements, moments, or exercise. Okay, so again, if you are running, if you have a job and is a physical labor, if you're working out in the gym and you're trying to you're trying to get stronger, but you've cut out carbs, you're not going to do anything. Carbs is stored in the muscle and in the liver of the body. So if you don't have carbs, it is affecting the function of your body, okay? It is affecting everything that happens. How you think, because it's in the brain, the central nervous system, how you react, okay? So then it is affecting what now? Your energy, okay? So again, these are things that we need to think about as we're choosing our carb of choice. When you say, I got to have my bread, okay, well, there's bread that isn't made with a lot of chemicals. We just got to look into them a little bit more, okay? There's one out there that Killer Mike's or Killer Dave's bread, Good Seed bread. It's a good source of that. I just threw that in there for you guys, okay? But still on this nutrition thing, right? So again, if protein or if carbohydrates is what's fueling us in high intensity moments, again, if we're cutting the carb, what are we doing? Again, we are affecting our brain. We are affecting our central nervous system. We are, No, to me, you cannot have bagels, one bagel a day. We're, gosh, okay. Anyway, thanks for that. I think we needed that little breakup because it is that serious to me, you guys. Like, my goodness, like if you, this is everything. This is everything that comes out of us. We wonder why kids can't function in school. We wonder why we can't stay focused and accomplish the things in our life that we're trying to accomplish. Well, we're still feeding ourselves crap, so we running on nothing, like running on chemicals. You running on falseness. Shoot, get on my nerves. I'm sorry, y'all. It just gets me sometimes. All right, so I think that's good right there, though. We covered what it does and how it affects our body, all right? So those are the important things that I want you guys to understand here, okay? So then you understand, too, those bad choices, those bad choices for carbohydrates, okay? So let's try to throw in some of the good carbohydrates, okay? So the things that we do need, okay? Thank you, Yvette. She said, we won't even put cheap gas in our cars. Like, we won't. We won't put cheap shoes on our feet, even if they cute. Because if they came from Payless, we can't do it or something. You know what I mean? Like, we do it all the time. Everything we want. Cheap as I don't know what. No, I take that back. When it comes to our health, we want to cut corners. We wanted the cheapest thing. Go to Aldi, okay? Please. I promise you the produce is not as expensive as you're thinking. Also, there are farmers markets. There are your local markets. There's in Southern Maryland, Waldorf. They're everywhere. There's one in Clinton, Maryland. They're everywhere. Stop playing, guys. Let's find them. You can Google them. Some of them will pop up, all right? You will find a way to do anything you want to do, okay? Again, except for your health. There's always some stipulation. Or you'll go out to eat on a weekend, a weekend, and you'll spend $50, $60, but you won't spend that $50 or $60, not even that much, $40 for a gym membership or something to help you out. Like, it frustrates me, but it's okay. Again, we'll get to that. We're gonna get to that real soon, all right? So we're gonna focus on the good stuff. We're gonna talk about finding those. Well, we are talking about that. Finding those inexpensive alternatives. We're gonna focus on our fruits and vegetables. Also, whole grains. Your steel cut oats, your quinoa, your brown rice, your wild rice, all of those things. Those things are great. And there's pasta that is made with grain and with quinoa and brown rice and those things that are awesome alternatives. We use them all the time. That'd probably be my next meal that I will show you guys so that you understand. Like, I still eat well. I still eat very well. And being pescatarian, I honestly, one thing I can say, I don't worry about portions or portion size because I know I'm not going anywhere over anything that needs to be counted because it's all natural. So the caloric intake is lower within itself because it's not chemicals. And it has all these other nutrients that help our body function, right? So that's why I'm able to do everything I do. I do this show on Thursday. I get up in the morning. I go to the gym. I train people. I work out myself. I'm finishing my master's degree, so I have that. I have another little job that I do to have fun and keep money in the pocket. I'm all over the place. I'm trying to, be the good partner at home and all that good stuff too, and starting the wedding preps. But I wouldn't be able to do all of that if I didn't take care of me first, if I didn't eat things that I knew was going to help my body to run more efficiently and more effectively, okay? Like, seriously, to keep all this stuff in my head separate and together, I couldn't do it by myself. Oh, my goodness. Shoot. Anyway, so those are some of the things we want to focus on as far as nutrition and really getting into making the better choices, okay? Anything that has shelf life, canned goods, anything in those shelves, I remember my mother used to, bless her heart, I'm not picking with her, but those old gratin potatoes in the cabinet, like, stop there in the cabinet. Like, come on, guys. Like, how long has this been there? Some of the stuff is, like, expired and all of that good. Like, I'm telling you, it just doesn't make any sense. But those are the things that we cannot focus on anymore. All right. So enough on the nutrition, and we will I'll come back to that on the wrap up for the do's and the don'ts with that, and help give you guys a tool to help make that, to really analyze what we're doing. Okay. So next up for my music of the day, all right? My music of the day. Now, like I said, like when I go into my music, like it really depends on what mood I'm in. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I need something a little more amped. Sometimes I need something that's more like, that's going to help me look at myself in a light that I may not be feeling at the time. Like something that's going to make me feel like, yeah, I am hot. I'm on fire. I got this. I'm burning up, right? So, and the funny thing is, and most people, everybody, those who know me, they know I don't know any of this like new music. I don't know any new artists. I'm so old school with, like, sometimes on my workout playlist, it's like ZZ Hill, Down Home Blues, and Someone Stepping In. Those are two of my favorite to get started with. Like, but and some of y'all like, who are they exactly? Like, come on. But sometimes, right now, today, yesterday, last week or two, this song right here by Shy Candy, I'm Hot, from the Hustle Tactic Entertainment group. They are out there in Louisville, Kentucky. This has been my song. I want you guys to sit back, enjoy the video for a second, and we will be back. And we'll talk about a little bit more about this mindset here, all right? So y'all enjoy it, all right? I'll be back.
Go. Go. I'm blazing, so amazing. Go. I'm flaming, so amazing. Okay, the roof is on fire, cause my swagger's on the ceiling. If I had the distribution, I most likely sell 1 million. Other rappers, they don't like me, cause my lyrics hurt they feeling. And I make them pay attention like I'm automatic billing. I'm hot, I'm burning up. Now they pee-pee when they see me. Used to throw away my freebies, now they pay me for my CD. From Chicago to New Orleans, me and my team rollin'. New York to California, I'm like a nigga holding hot. Ain't no secret though, everybody know it, coach. Put me in the game, but these motherfuckers blowing nobody in my way. I don't see no competition, pulling up in something fun, sitting high, roof missing, I'm hot. You see me sweating, get your church fans out. Yeah, I'm so fucking fly that my purse stand out. Play a nigga whole squad with his hurt man's out. I'm hot, this fire water quenching thirst in this drought. Go. I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm burning up. 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 I make them say, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm burning up. 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 I'm so hot up in my city, no promoters play me petty. All the niggas say I'm fine on my hate from ugly Betty's. Take it Maybach music, then I mix it with some Chevy. All the jewelry we be wearing make the people think we heavy. Yeah, I'm so fucking fire, you can call me Jerry Lewis. Ain't too many bitches fitting that can do this like I do this. Yeah, I'm eating all my talent till my tummy look like Buddhist. Wear it all through my music, I'm a motherfucking nudist. Check Candy on the track, it's like Pirelli on a tire. Grade A bitch with no date that I expire. Yep, I like it loud, nigga, turn me up higher. Sparking up an interest like I'm touching 2 wires. Go, fireball spitter, but my breath ain't no Bilal. Once the stage up in flames, I set fire to the crowd. And my Louisville slugging, cause I step up to the mouth. Or am I this fucking hot, cause I breathe Chi-Town. Go. I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm burning up. 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 I make them say, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm hot, I'm burning up. 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 I make them say, say, I'm high, I'm high, I'm high, I'm high, I'm burning up, I'm high, I'm burning up, I'm high, I'm burning up, I'm high, I'm burning up. I make them say, I'm high, I'm high, I'm high, I'm high, I'm burning up, 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 I'm high.
Welcome back, guys. How'd y'all like that? Did you like the video? Y'all didn't see it at home, but did y'all like the video? Oh, I need a mic. Y'all didn't hear that? My break was over, but I wasn't ready to be back. Anyway. How'd you guys like the video? I hope you liked it. Again, Shy Candy, I'm hot. You can check it out on YouTube. All the handles are there as well. Check out more of her information. All that, more of her music, rather, on YouTube. Okay? Awesome. All right. So let's go into like, and when I say the mindset, you know, we talked about the carbs and how it affects the brain, the central nervous system, and how a person thinks and acts, right? So I want to give you guys a better perspective of how that plays out in real life, in real reality, what the end result then becomes from these tactics of cheap carbs, the tactics of having it 45 to 65% of your diet, and the availability of, or the information rather, of what a healthy carb is versus the supply of what the unhealthy carbs are. So how does that then play out into society, okay? What does that do to us as people, right? So studies over and over and over. First, okay. If you guys ever watch like the 600-pound life or those extreme obesity shows, you will notice that every person, and I mean every situation, that person who is morbidly obese has had something tragic happen to them in their life to cause them to find food somehow as a comfort. Whether it's what was introduced to them as a way of comfort or just their drug of choice, okay, by availability, right? So what that looks like is 600 plus pounds, is 300, 400 plus pounds of unhealthy body weight, okay? Moreover, studies have shown that 98% of morbidly obese people have suffered some trauma in their life. Okay, so it's pretty much textbook. It's not even, you know, something that is like, oh my gosh, how do we get? And they call it a freaking epidemic. Like, it's not an epidemic. It's how you guys set the system up. I'm sorry. I rant sometimes because this stuff really does get on my nerves sometimes, okay? So again, what these things cause, these false carbs, these fake fats, what do they cause to society? The next few things, here's a list of what they cause just for kicks, okay? Number 1, depression and anxiety. Why would that happen? Depression, okay, so think about it. Depression and anxiety, they typically go hand in hand, okay? So over here it says that the carbohydrates affects the glucose level, right? And this affects the way a person thinks or acts. Unhealthy living from eating fake foods, the number 1 cause is depression and anxiety, or symptom, side effect. Depression and anxiety. Depression, how someone feels. Okay? So how do you feel is how you think you feel. Okay? How you think. And then anxiety. Anxiety has to do with the action of that depression, okay? So, like, some people have different forms of anxiety as it comes, but anxiety is the physical act that isn't controllable, okay, of the action, of the depression, of the moment, of the whatever was triggered, okay? So it is the act, or anxiety is the act. Again, carbohydrates, sugar levels affecting the way we think and the way we act. You guys, what I'm saying is this isn't rocket science. It's right here. I didn't do anything special, you know what I mean, that or I didn't reach any information that isn't out there repeatedly swarming the internet or any other reputable source. This information is all there, okay? Again, self-esteem is another. Body dissatisfaction, right? Because in the magazines and on TV, everybody is fit and it's skin all smooth and hair all flawless and shiny and bouncy. And people wonder why Keisha and them don't look like that down the street, and they mad. So now Keisha and them ain't even no good because they don't look like the people in the show or in the magazine and all this, right? Again, you guys, the things that we're eating is affecting the way we think and the way we act. These all have, it's a domino effect, okay? And another one, dieting and unhealthy weight control practices. That's okay. I'm going. And back in the day, everybody was trying to do the Atkins, and we're going all high proteins and fats, and it's still unhealthy fats. Like, it's still going to affect you. Like, now it's no carbs at all, or all these little gimmicks, or even we got drops now, and I know I'm stepping on some people's toes, and shakes and all that, but again, it's not natural. It's not healthy. You're doing harm. You're causing harm to your body that controls the way you think and act. Okay? Let's think about it, people. Eating disorders, bulimia, anorexia, all of those things come from the way we think, the way we act. Because you're anorexic or bulimic, you thinking you're too big, you're too small, you got to throw up, or, all these different things. Your perception of how you look isn't what's real, okay? Again, it's affecting how we think and act. If you get nothing from this, false foods will affect the way we think and act, okay? The next thing, as I just said, emotional problems, okay? These are all results of eating fake foods. The cheap, okay, the chemical process, okay, the things that we love so much and have us so trapped and so unhealthy and so in positions or in situations that we have to take other food or other pills, other chemicals to then counteract the chemicals that we consistently put into our body. We have to stop it somewhere. We have to cut that chemical off, okay? Like, it's that important. If it's going to give you emotional problems, okay? Like, that's serious. It's serious, y'all, okay? All of that. Concerns about your weight, concerns about your shape. We're all shaped different. Some of it's genetics. Some of it is the fake food and how it sits on us. You know what I mean? But we don't want to do anything about that. Like, it just doesn't complement what has already been naturally given to us. So that's where the problem lies, okay? We were all made in different shapes and different forms, heights, shades, all of that. That's, to me, I don't feel like that is, I feel like that is supposed to be, okay? We need diversity. We need some of everyone, okay? I have a brother who's 4'11", but no, he's a good 5 feet. We need him around, okay? He's still needed, all right? So what I'm saying is, but his daughter's 10, and she's taller than him. We need her height. Like, we need it. So you get what I mean? Like, come on. No, I'm sorry. I had to break some of that up because it does really, I care, and I care about it. It just shocks me when you really realize how much information out there is bullshit. It's just, you can't believe that you thought that way at one point, and it just blows my mind. All right, so these are the little things, and this is how it affects us, right? So we've learned what it does, the chemical part, right? We learn what it's supposed to do, or what the healthy form of it is supposed to do, and we learn what the bad actually does to us. Okay, so we have to make these decisions. We have to change our mindset. Okay, and so and we get into that. Like I said, when we talk about changing our mindset and how it affects us, I've said all these things, but one thing I want to, two things I saw this week alone. I was in the gym, and I was training a lady on a deadlift movement. And so for that is basically picking the weight up, barbell weight from the floor up into good position. She was under the perception that the weight that I put on the end of the bar was way heavier than what it was. But it was the rubber plate, so they were full size, but they only weighed 10 pounds. And I had one on each side in the bar, so that was only 65 pounds. But in her head, because the weight was round and the same, size, she thought that it was the 45-pound plates that were on the other side of the gym that we use for something else. So when she bent down to pick it up, she picked it up so much that she almost hurt herself, because her mindset was that it was 135 pounds. Well, in fact, it was only 65, and she had built up so much, hesitation, but she didn't want to, make me feel like she didn't want to do it either. So she put all her might into it and almost hurt herself. There was no weight on there. So let's look at things for what they are, okay? And see how we can improve upon, or see how we can accomplish the goals that we set out, okay? So look at the whole situation. Again, the way we think, we have to change, all right? It's all in the power of the mind, okay? It just is. I said that. And so if you feed your brain good stuff, then you'll have better results. It's just that simple, okay? So here's the do and don't for the week. I'm the don't, okay? I don't want to hear any more talk about I can't afford to get in shape. I can't afford fitness. I can't afford gym memberships. I can't. I'm going to help you see how you can afford. And I'm not just saying you got to come to the gym, or not saying you have to get a personal trainer, okay? I will say that you should at some point have a personal trainer to properly evaluate you, to make sure that, certain things are addressed, especially your movement patterns if anyone's getting started. But this is what I want you to do first. Along with the food journal, okay, and so you take your food journal, and by that I mean any composition book, notebook, right? You start writing out what you've eaten every day, okay? Do this for a whole 7 days. Don't lie about it. Don't fidget. Just be honest and write it down, right? If you ate crap, just write the crap down, all right? So in one column, I want you to write what you've eaten, okay? The next column, I want you to write what you paid for it. Meaning, if you went out to eat, write that cost down along with what you ate. If you went to the grocery store and those foods that you've eaten come from groceries, just put down the amount that you spent at the grocery. So say 1 week I went to the grocery on Tuesday and I spent $50. But then I also picked up things that were outside of the grocery on 3 days of the week that amounted or say 4 days of the week amounted to $25 a piece each time I did that. That was way expensive for me, but I'm not doing that. But so then essentially $150 for that week went to food, okay? Do that for a month, okay? At the end of that month, I want you to calculate all the money that you spent on food and alcohol, okay? Alcohol is included in that food bill, especially you're going out. If you buy liquor for the house, if you buy beer for the house, those things incorporate in this journal. Okay, so you write down your food, what you've eaten, what you've drinking, what you've drank. Excuse me. I'm with an English teacher. I correct myself all the time. So then you're gonna write down how much you pay for it. Okay, so the idea is I want you to see how much you pay for groceries versus how much you spend out to eat. There's always a big difference here. I noticed it with myself at one point where I would budget so well on the grocery list and spend like $50 for that week on groceries. But then I might have went out to eat twice that week or once or twice. And this is, a while ago. So then essentially I spent $100 for groceries that week. But I didn't need to. I had all the food that I needed in the house. And if it was food that was nutritionally dense, it had shelf life. And then, so those foods might spoil because I've then eaten out and I wasted money eating out. You know what I mean? So this is what that template I want you guys to kind of follow and make your own to think about. Okay. Then after that's done, go and I don't care what it is. If a gym membership is what you want, fine. Write it down. Write down how much it is. Write down a few gyms that you've looked at and decided to join. Look at other activities that you want to do or maybe you want to accomplish, or say you wanted to do Zumba, or you wanted to learn how to play basketball better, or learn how to, join a football team or whatever. Write it down. Write how much it costs. 5 activities, okay? Make one of them something you've never done before at all, okay? One thing I want to do is glass blowing. That's on my list. But a physical, as far as fitness, is powerlifting. So I'm preparing for that. It's always something, right? So we're going to write down those things. We're going to write down how much they cost. Once you have your total for the month, multiply that times 12, and you'll see the number for the year. And I promise you, that column that says you've eaten out is going to be way more than that column of activities and the cost that it takes to do them. Okay? Somebody please try this at home and let me know what you think, all right? Someone please try this at home and let me know. I know how it works because I've done it, okay? So that's how I can say I know that it works. But not only does it work, it also helps change that mindset because you see it in black and white. It's right there, okay? So please spend some time doing that, writing down what you're eating, writing down how much it costs and how much you pay for it. Some of you are going to be really upset at how much money you spend on crap. Like, it's really going to put that in perspective, okay? So, again, we have those tools that will help you, healthier tips for shopping. Stay on the outside of the grocery store. Not like outside the store, but the outer perimeters, right? So, when you walk in, you always go to the produce. So stay to produce. Stay on that whole outside perimeter. If you eat meat, then go in there. So the idea is to stay away from the foods with the shelf life. All those foods are in those shelves, okay? So that's what we want to stay away from. That's where the chemicals are. That's where the things that are affecting the way we think and the way we act are located, okay? So be mindful. Shopping on the outer perimeters. Use Aldi. Use farmers markets. Find your local growers. I promise you, start looking at things to grow your own also are excellent options. I mean, there's not a better way to control what you're eating than to do it that way, okay? So, like I said, this thing affects your mind, affects what we do. And so I want you guys to really understand this as we wrap up here and understand that. So tomorrow or next week I'm going to take it a step further All right. And our guest will share her story of how this mindset of I want to eat what I want to eat and I don't care and all of that good stuff has truly affected and impacted her life and her siblings, okay? She shared a story with me that her mother said, I'm going to eat what I want to eat because I'm going to die from something anyway, okay? And she said she didn't smoke, she didn't drink, but she ate what she wanted, okay? And I'm going to have her daughter here to share the story because the lady who said that is no longer with us, okay? And her cause of death was high cholesterol and high blood pressure, all right? So I want you guys to tune into with me next week as you hear that story and hear that mindset and how it was her fate, okay? There's power in the tongue. The thoughts and the action behind the tongue are everything, all right? It dictates our life. So be mindful, all right? That's enough for today. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.